champions.
I don't know if I even dreamed of winning ACC championships, 3 in a row. Are you kidding?
Being able to do it 3 times is just amazing, and I will never take it for granted.
It just means that you're a tough team, that you know how to win, and you want to do anything, everything to continue to win.
You want to be playing your best basketball in March, and you want to get on a run, and it helps that we have great people, great culture, but it's going to take all that coming together.
I think you guys will win a 4th straight?
Yes, I definitely do think we will win a 4th streak.
Why?
Because we won it. That's our goal for this year. We all want to feel that feeling again.
Not easy to do to win 4 in a row. River Baldwin with the Wolfpack now played for Florida State last year. Going to try and get this team going. And Coach, I want to come to you because, as I mentioned, Notre Dame from 2014 to 2017, you guys are one of 3 teams in the ACC that did win 4 straight ACC tournament titles. It's not easy to do. What's the toughest part of coming in here now for a 4th time NC State and trying to win another?
Well, it's easy when you have really good players. That makes it so much better. There's no question we had really good players. Maybe not the best in the league, but we certainly had some really good players. And you look back at NC State and what they had. Those seniors that came through, played together all those years. They got better and better. They seemed to be able to gel with new people coming in. Raina Perez, I think, really got them together. If you've got that good point guard, you feel a lot better. We had so many great point guards, Lindsey Allen, Skylar Diggins. You just put your trust in them and let them do the job.
And Kelly, they still have a lot of players on this team, although it looks different. They lost some of the stars that Coach is mentioning who did play in those ACC tournament games in the past. How much do they need to lean on those girls and that experience?
Right, one of them you see right there, 2 of them really, Jada Boyd and Jakia Brown-Turner are 2 players that played a lot last year when NC State was 3-peating. Also were in the previous 3-peats because they're seniors. So they have never played in this tournament and not won it, Jada Boyd and Jakia Brown-Turner. Now they have a bigger task. They're starting on day 2. They never had to start on day 2 on the previous 3 attempts for NC State. And Coach, I really like how Westmore, he always gives credit to the players too. Last year when they would win, he would say, look, y'all, it's in his aw shucks way. It's not me, it's the players. Look at these players. And it's really tough to replace Elisa Kunane, I think the best player in school history, Raina Perez, Kayla Jones, and Kai Crutchfield. Those 4 starters. It's brutal to kind of replace that kind of unit, that core unit that they had.
And Ivory, it's also tough for them to play without Diamond Johnson, who will not be in the mix for them today. Definitely missing. We're told we'll see what happens the rest of the ACC tournament. Likely she will miss all of it, but kind of day to day, depending on her pain tolerance. What do they do without Diamond Johnson?
They go out there and play extremely hard. I mean, they got to get also, help from the bench as well too. Everybody has to just come in and play as one. No one-on-one basketball. Stick to whatever game plan they have on the defense, on the offensive end. Be locked into this game because it's not going to be easy. They playing a really great team. With a great point guard.
Yeah.
So they really got to be locked in and be focused.
Definitely.
About the defense, so don't you think they're going to come up and pressure the point guard? Because who is going to play the point? I mean, Snia Rivers will spend some time there. Maybe Jones. I don't know who's going to come out and play the point, but for 40 minutes, Syracuse should come up and really put the pressure on because it's still a new position without Diamond Johnson in there to steady the ship.
And what is NC State going to do with Deasia Fair, who we know can light it up? Dad's going to be over here screaming. I don't know where he is. We lost him for now. I'm sure he'll be back around soon, letting everybody know that Syracuse is here and ready to play, and that game coming your way at the top of the hour at 2 o'clock. We're getting ready for the next game here on ACC Network. Game 2 of 4 in the second round. We've got NC State. We've got Otto, the Orange. We are 30 minutes till tip off. The cheerleaders here, the band here. The kids are cleared out, so it is a little bit quieter, but don't worry. Atmosphere coming back at the top of the hour. We will talk about this matchup after the break. Coming up at the top of the hour, Syracuse and NC State. You see Diamond Johnson out on the court, but you also see the boot on that foot. She is day-to-day with that injury. Certainly someone that they want to get back as soon as possible, but NC State going to have to play without Diamond Johnson today as they take on Syracuse. The Wolfpack won in the one meeting they played back January 1st of this year. All right, we're counting you down to tip off at the top of the hour. Syracuse and NC State. Deasia Fair, the star of this team, but we can't lie. We've got another star when we watch these games, and it is De'Asia's dad, who we have called down on set with us. First of all, you were just listening to the music. You're getting ready for the pregame, too. I need to know what we're listening to and how we're feeling.
Go get them. Us versus them.
Oh.
Listen to us versus them.
Oh, he's listening to us versus them. I thought you were literally telling me us versus them. I was like, I agree with you. You are as hype as any father on the sidelines.
I'm ready. I'm getting ready. Put me in.
What's it like for you to get to watch the way De'Asia's playing? We're getting ready to talk about she's scoring double digits in every single game she's played in this year.
I ain't gonna lie. Words can't describe how I feel. Just watch me. My actions just speak louder than my words.
We're going to be watching you. Go enjoy it. I know I don't want to mess up your pregame routine because you got to get ready for the game, just like De'Asia has to get ready for this game. And I just mentioned De'Asia and what she's been able to do. 29 games this season, guys, scoring in double figures. Scored 20 points in 5 of her last 7 games. Coach, what is it about De'Asia Fair that makes her so special?
Well, she has just such a tremendous ability to handle the ball. She can get her shot open. She can make threes, and that's something she's really comfortable doing. But watch the space she creates. The screen is going to come up. Her defender is going to make a mistake and go under the screen. She steps back, establishes that distance, and is able to hit the three. And that is just so important for her because she's not a tall person on the floor. So she's got to be able to use the space really well, and she does a great job of that. But here you're going to see her taking advantage of the ball screen. She gets a little help, so she's going to look and keep going. She's going to be able to get her shot off again against a much taller defender. They're looking to double team. She gets in the crowd, doesn't bother her. She just gets the shot up, she gets it off, and nothing but net. Just a great shot. This is one of my favorite plays. She can really handle the ball. She's going to make her defender look bad. She gets by her pretty easily. She's going to go right through the heart of this zone, comes down, look at the screen down the bottom. You got a good screen off in there, and she's able to double clutch and shoot it over. Just a great play. She didn't have a great outing last time out against NC State, but she is really capable, Kelly.
Yeah, no, I think Dad knows. Dad's probably aware of the stats last time. Against NC State on January 1st, she had 14 points. She was 6 for 23 from the field and just 1 for 9 from 3. Honestly, one of her worst performances of the year. She has not scored in single digits all year. We talked about that. She still was effective, but something tells me that she can't go 1 for 9 from 3 today against NC State and Syracuse get the win. But I think De'Asia Fair is coming ready to play. She's similar to Jewel Spear. The lights are bright, the moment's big, and she understands that Syracuse, from all the metrics we've seen, needs this win to get into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to go off of you, Coach. The way she creates space, being a small point guard, you have to create that space to get your shot off. She does it with her handles every single night. She's going to do it with handles. She needs to do it with the shot and lead this team to victory today for sure.
Nobody did it better than you.
Well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate
that. Charlie Cream currently has them as the last team in the NCAA tournament. So, Kelly, you mentioned how important this opportunity is for them. De'Asia Fair will be big, of course. Georgia Woolley as well, waiting to see what she's able to do.
So she's not in the starting lineup, but she was out there warming up. She didn't play against Pittsburgh in their last regular season game on Thursday, but she was out there warming up, so I'm feeling pretty good that she might play. And something to keep in mind here, Kelsey, Syracuse did not play on Sunday. They had Sunday off, so they have had a full week of rest to get ready for this game against NC State.
And last time they played NC State, they did fall by just 2 points, 56-54 the final. Georgia Woolley had 23 points in that game. She was able to open things up and knock down 4 threes, so they'll definitely need some of that outside shooting if they want to get it going against NC State. As you take a look at the turnaround this team has experienced in the last 2 seasons, last year 11-18, this year 18-11, and not done yet. Their coach, Felicia Leggett-Jack, has done just a great job with this team. Coach, what would the message be for this group? Got some transfers in De'Asia Fair, one of them playing in the ACC tournament for the first time and her first experience here, but she's no stranger to the spotlight.
Yeah, and it's really an important game for all of them, but I think that's when the stage is bigger and De'Asia Fair is ready for that moment. I think that's why she came to Syracuse. She was at the mid-major level. She did very well, but now is her chance to prove that she belongs here.
At the mid-major level, she was incredible. She was the 4th leading scorer in the nation, and she comes into the ACC and is the 2nd leading scorer in the league this year. So she has absolutely proved that she belongs. And Kels, breaking news. Just got some confirmation. Georgia Woolley will play today. Okay. She is just not starting, did not play in their last game. So that's a good sign, because she has been Deasia Fair's running mate throughout this season. And when they both get going, that's when Syracuse is lethal.
Yeah, you're right. We've been looking at a lot of Batman and Robin. We just can't have Batman out there today. She needs that Robin to help her, get through this game. And, as long as they play together and not a lot of one-on-one, they have a great chance of winning this game for sure.
I think Hyman's going to be important as well.
Yes.
Hyman was 0 for the last game. Last time they played, they have Batman and Robin, but they're going to need that third person if they're going to win today.
Syracuse has reached the quarterfinals in 6 of their 9 previous ACC tournaments. On the other side of things, we've got NC State, who of course has won 3 straight ACC tournament titles. Coach, what's the biggest challenge for them in this game today?
Well, they have the experience, but they really have not played well. They can't feel good about the way their team has played without Diamond Johnson. With Diamond Johnson, they just have not found a rhythm with Jakia Brown-Turner, Jada Boyd, 2 players that were expected to really step up this year. I think it maybe comes down to leadership. Without Diamond Johnson at the point, who is going to lead this team today?
And I think it comes down to something I talked about with Wake Forest, that sense of urgency. We know what Syracuse is playing for here. They need to win to get in the NCAA tournament. For NC State, they're in the tournament, mainly because they played a very tough non-conference, and they beat Iowa earlier in the regular season. But it feels like Syracuse has a little more to play for. Can NC State match that urgency? Can they play with the desperation that I think we're going to see from Syracuse?
You're right, that sense of urgency, but also can they execute down the stretch? Who's going to be that leader to say, hey, listen, we need to run this set. We need to get these stops on defense. And, losing Diamond Johnson is huge because she was that leader. Execution and that sense of urgency is going to be big for them.
And we've mentioned the players that have played in this game before, specifically Jada and Jakia Brown-Turner, but also Sanaya Rivers, who transferred in, and she was ACC 6th Woman of the Year. Kelly, what's the impact she could have on this game?
She is their best defender. She is elite defensively. She's so long. She can set the tone for them. When NC State has been at their best this year is when they're playing with their defense and turning their defense into offense. They're getting pressure on the opposing team's point guard, and they're forcing turnovers. That's what NC State has to do today. I think they have to lock in and really focus defensively, Coach, and that's what Sanaya Rivers does best.
She really does, and she's no stranger to this sort of tournament atmosphere. She was on the bench at South Carolina, played a lot in the early going in the SEC tournament, and got to the Final Four, so she's aware of what's at stake here.
NC State trying to become the 4th program to win 4 straight ACC titles. Notre Dame, North Carolina, and Duke have done it in the past, and the Wolfpack start their quest to potentially win a 4th straight today as they take on Syracuse at the top of the hour. As mentioned, these teams met just once in the regular season. It was the first game of the new year, January 1st, and it was a 2-point game. No Diamond Johnson for NC State today. Who else will be able to step up? We will have more as we count you down to tip off at the top of the hour and make our game picks on the other side of this break. Game number 2 of day 2 of the 2023 Ally ACC Women's Basketball Tournament is just moments away. Coach, your pick is Syracuse or NC State?
Going with experience of NC State.
Interesting, Coach. I told you guys I thought the orange teams were the teams to watch on day 2. I think Syracuse and Deasia Fair gets it done. Ivory, who you got?
I'm actually going for the orange team. Let's go, Syracuse. Yeah, be shocked.
You got to pick one orange team today, I guess, Ivory Latta. So Coach has NC State as they try to make the case to win their 4th straight ACC tournament title. On the other side of things, there she is, Deasia Fair, scoring around 20 points per game, 2nd highest scorer in the ACC. We will see you at the half. Enjoy the game here in Greensboro.
Conferences mean circle dates, legendary careers at one place.
The Tar Heels have won their 4th championship in a row.
It's a neighborhood on hardwood, settling scores.
1, 2, 3, yeah!
Conference play is passionate and personal. Now the time has come for tickets to be punched and titles won.
Perez will keep it and with 2.1 to go.
That's called a three-peat. Welcome to Champ Week.
Welcome to Champ Week in the Ally ACC Women's Tournament. Second of our 4 second-round games coming your way from Greensboro. It's an 8-9 matchup between NC State and Syracuse. They only met once during the regular season, and State came away with a 2-point victory on the road. We've already had one exciting game here. Florida State up 20 early in the third quarter, but then Jules Spear and company went on a 26-0 run. And yes, Wake Forest, the number 12 seed, took out number 5 Florida State, making it official with the sticker on the bracket. They will play Louisville tomorrow as we will welcome in the top 4 seeds in the quarterfinals. After us, Miami, BC, and then North Carolina, Clemson in our night session. So a lot more basketball yet to be played in Greensboro, and we welcome you to the ACC tournament. Pam Ward, along with former Purdue National Player of the Year Stephanie White. Angel Gray will be joining us shortly. And let's start off with this Syracuse Orange team. Risha Jack has done a great job with them. Right now, Charlie Cream says they're an NCAA team.
Yeah, absolutely. He has them in right now, but certainly a win against NC State here today would solidify them in the NCAA tournament.
And they have one of the best players in the league this year. Coach Jack bringing some people over from Buffalo with her to help them out, including Deasia.
Deasia Fair has been outstanding all season long. Really, since she came into college basketball, all she's done is average 20 for her career. But she can score quickly, she can score in bunches, she can score at all 3 levels. She's also second in the league in steals, so she's a lockdown defender. And really, this is a Syracuse Orange team who has great balance, but leans heavily on Deasia Fair's playmaking ability.
And you see a look at Deasia, who is from Rochester, New York, did play 3 years at Buffalo, where she was an honorable mention All-American for Coach Jack, who did such terrific things with that program. And you see the numbers coming over from Buffalo, but stepping into the ACC and thriving. Now, for more on NC State, let's head over to Angel Gray.
Well, we were just told that the Wolfpack will be without their leading scorer in Diamond Johnson due to injury. So a lot like what they've been going through all season. Who's the next woman up? And they don't have to look much further than their sophomore phenom in Sanaya Rivers, who has been a breath of fresh air for Westmore. She was just named the ACC 6th Player of the Year. And while Westmore was looking for different rotations in this season, he said she has brought the energy, not just off the bench, but now in the starting lineup. She is the only North Carolina native on this roster. She told me this is a dream come true to play in her first ACC tournament.
And grew up near the shore in Wilmington, North Carolina. She and Fair get tied up right away, and Rivers growing up watching this tournament. There's a great look at Diamond Johnson, who is such a great player when she's healthy. We saw her during the regular season, Steph, and just a shadow of her former self because of that right foot.
Yeah, she really was. She was hindered. She couldn't move. She couldn't elevate. And she is such a great scorer going to the rim, and just did not have it in her. And Westmore deciding to shut her down to get her ready for postseason.
They plan on having her for the NCAA tournament, where they are one of 9 ACC teams that Charlie Cream has in the field right now, more than any other conference in the U.S. And NC State throws the ball away. They come in 9-9 on the season, same with Syracuse, but because State won head-to-head, they are the higher seed, albeit slightly an 8 versus a 9. Perkins, Kennedy Perkins, a true freshman from Illinois, number 1 in orange. What other color would they wear? And Syracuse on the board first. Dariana Lewis, first year at Syracuse after 3 years at Alabama A&M. She was an HBCU All-American a couple of times. NC State, a team that has kind of been struggling to find itself this year. A lot of new faces and new roles. James with the miss. Perkins taking it all the way for her first bucket, only averages about 3 points per game.
Well, this is a Syracuse team who can score the basketball. They can score in bunches. They're 3rd in the league in scoring. They're 1st in the league in offensive rebounds, so having multiple possessions is part of their game. Playing this matchup zone defensively, really making it difficult. You see NC State just throwing it all over the floor.
couple of turnovers early for the Wolfpack. Johnson out of the lineup, and they've had some ups and downs this season with their different lineups that Westmore has been forced to use. They dropped out of the top 25 in late January for the first time since January of 2018. It is 6-0 Syracuse now. After Fair hit her first basket, averaging 20 points a game. That is second in the league behind Tanaya Latson. Jada Boyd able to get inside for her first basket. State down now 6-2. Perkins running the show. Syracuse with a lot of new faces themselves, a lot of transfers, not just from Buffalo. Fair unable to chase it down.
It's a Syracuse program that was really decimated. A lot of players left. Coach Jack coming back to her alma mater, taking over, bringing in a lot of new players, putting them together rather quickly, but bringing over a little bit of continuity with players who came from her from Buffalo, understanding what it is that she wants. And this is a team who has been competitive night in and night out, and we've seen them continue to get better as the season progressed.
It's a program that has had to rebuild after a couple of chaotic years. River Baldwin gets a good look. Joining this program after 3 years at Florida State. Florida State upset earlier today at 6-4 Syracuse early on in this game. Rice looking inside to Strong, who took a couple of steps. Second turnover. Mai Forsberg, Denise Brooks, and Jeffrey Smith, a good veteran crew on hand today in Greensboro. Old school, shooting the scoreboard because our bug is down. That is the scoreboard that you usually see all the time in games. It's hard to imagine life without one, but
it sure is.
But we're living that right now.
We get used to seeing it.
Some of us are old enough to remember when the bugs weren't around. There is a foul on Jada Boyd.
That has to be you, right? That you're
it would probably most definitely be me.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure.
Asia Strong called for the foul. Jada Boyd being aggressive early.
Jada Boyd, 2 shots.
Jada Boyd, a co-6th player of the year in the ACC a year ago. Her scoring down just a couple of points from last year. But they missed 4 starters left, and they were darn good starters, to say the least. Renee, Kayla Jones, a whole bunch of...
Raina Perez.
Yes.
Kai Crutchfield.
Yeah, Raina Perez, who helped win this tournament last year with that last-second shot.
Yeah, and what they lost, not just from a production standpoint, but a leadership standpoint, a consistency standpoint, knowing what you're going to get night in and night out. And this has been an NC State team who has been anything but consistent throughout this season.
They were picked 3rd in the ACC behind Louisville and Virginia Tech, and all the way down to the 8th seed. Trying times for Coach Westmore. Fair, lost it.
I like what NC State's doing, not allowing Deasia Fair to come off the on-ball screen. They're icing her or keeping her from using the screen. You've got to make sure that you're really tight, though, because she can one-dribble pull up if you force her to not use it.
There she is. Number 2 is Fair. Keep your eyes on her. They have Rivers guarding her. Rivers on the... Picked as the 6th player of the year in the ACC this year. Now Syracuse has a player down in Georgia Woolley. And Georgia Woolley torched NC State for 23 points when they played in the regular season. She's saying she's okay, but they've subbed in for her, so she has to come out. Woolley, a sophomore from Australia, who also came over from Buffalo with Coach Jack. Rivers inside to Baldwin, quickly draws attention. Brown-Turner passed up the long jumper. Baldwin could not save it, so the ball goes over to Syracuse.
I felt like that was a three that Jakia Brown-Turner could take. It was in rhythm. The ball had gone inside and then to the backside against the zone.
Jakia Brown-Turner is the only starter coming back from last season. Senior from Oxon Hill, Maryland. And Rivers frustrated with herself for committing her first foul.
This matchup with Sanaya Rivers on Deasia Fair, her length, her athleticism, that is to her advantage. So being disciplined, not getting in foul trouble, there certainly is a lack of depth for the Wolfpack is going to be important. And now you see they changed the matchup and Madison Hayes gets the call.
Syracuse leading here 6-5 with about 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Fair elevates, left it short. JVT, Jakia Brown-Turner picks it up. Rivers, they have numbers, 3-on-2. Kick it over to Maddie Hayes. Brown-Turner gives him a second chance. Boyd saved it. Good ball movement here for State. And it results in Brown-Turner's bucket.
Great ball movement, terrific extra pass. Unselfishness, getting great shots.
8-6, NC State now on top. 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Fair, got a good screen, room to get it off, but the shot would not go down. Deasia with 2 points so far. Rivers. Huge pickup for Westmore in the transfer portal. And a national championship at South Carolina. Shot clock at 6. Rivers just absolutely hounded by Fair. Here's a 2-on-1 the other way with Hyman. Unselfish play by Fair. Hyman gets it home.
Deasia Fair is second in the league in steals. She's got those quick hands.
Ties the game up at 8. And they are going for the steals. Baldwin put it home.
That was a nice catch by River Baldwin. I like how aggressive Jada Boyd has been early in this ball game, getting the ball at the high post, looking to attack.
Rivers cradles the basketball with her team up 2. Baldwin left open, decided not to put up a shot. Instead, Boyd found her. River Baldwin off to a terrific start with 6.
And those two are really working well together. Getting the ball at the high post, looking that high-low, getting the ball in the short corner, and looking at the post dive.
NC State up 12-8. Just under 3 minutes to go in the first. Hyman aggressive to the hoop. Tisha Hyman, the only returning starter on this Syracuse team. And she has been coming off the bench for Coach Jack. Contact inside, drawn nicely by Jada Boyd. We'll take a timeout. NC State up 2. When we come back, we'll have a very special guest.
Syracuse is on the bubble, but still very much alive for an NCAA tournament berth. Coming up next, I'll tell you how the Orange get in, so stick around. As the current very last team in the field, Syracuse is essentially in must-win mode. Although a loss to NC State wouldn't necessarily be the end of the road, it would be very difficult for Syracuse to get a bid after that. However, the good news is a win over the Wolfpack not only extends the season for the Orange, but it's also a resume builder, another top 25 net win. And then after that, Syracuse would get a very vulnerable Notre Dame team, and a win over the #1 seed in the ACC tournament and a trip to the semifinals would be the clincher. At that point, the Orange would be dancing.
Bottom line, this is a very big game for Syracuse, and Coach Leggett Jack trying to get them back into the NCAA tournament more securely in the field if they certainly will get a win today, and let's take a look at their resume. The net rank has them at 53. Right now, Charlie has them projected as last 4 in as a number 12 seed. But if they can beat State today, certainly that would help. Under 68 teams get in for the women like the men. River Baldwin off to a great start with 6 points and give her an assist.
NC State's doing a really good job of working that high-low action. You mentioned it, River Baldwin, when giving this team the lift, there's really not the size on the interior to defend a player like Baldwin.
And Asia Strong at 6'2", who is the closest. Baldwin getting more playing time so far than Camille Hobby, who started the game. Isaiah James has just picked up her first foul for NC State. Hyman, short, but hunted down her own rebound. Inside 2 minutes to go. Hyman guarded out there by James, still got a shot off, and now James comes up with the rebound. James has had a couple of really good games for State, particularly late, but gave that away. Good to see Woolley back on the floor. She got nicked up a little bit earlier in the game. Missed their last game against Pitt because she was in concussion protocol. They're back here playing today.
This is the tough thing for NC State. Diamond Johnson's injury takes away your primary ball handler. Sanaya Rivers on the bench right now is the secondary ball handler. So Isaiah James has had to go from being that spark off the bench on the wing to being a lead guard in this system.
Brown Turner with the miss. Great effort by Madison Hayes to get the rebound, and she was fouled.
And again, just a lax pass by James. Georgia Woolley able to get in that passing lane, get in easy too. You can't just assume that you're going to be able to make that ball reversal. You got to be sure. And again, you think about this team and Reina Perez, that lead guard is River Baldwin gets another 2 a year ago. Diamond Johnson was that spark off the bench and the primary ball handler. But NC State, I feel like, has had to reinvent themselves multiple times this year.
Miss Johnson was the 6th player of the year last year. Coach Westmore likening her to like the microwave coming off the bench back in the day for the Pistons. Is that Biddy Johnson?
Yes, yes it was. That was good, I'm proud of you.
That's all I got for the NBA for you. And that was a long time ago. Brown Turner tried to get it in to Mimi Collins, and she lost it out of bounds. Mimi Collins playing at her 3rd school. Started out at Tennessee, played a couple of years at Maryland. She's from that state, and now at NC State. Nothing Westmore talked about. He's used to having players for 4 years, developing them, and with the transfer portal, things have really changed. Trying to get people acclimated in a very short period of time. Shot clock and game clock. No shot clock, game clock dying. Fair. Yes. Off the back rim. And NC State takes a 5-point lead after the first quarter of play in this 2nd round in Greensboro. The Ally ACC Women's Tournament is brought to you by Ally. Whatever you're saving for, we're all better off with an Ally. ACC Women's Basketball Tournament Day 2 in Greensboro, North Carolina. And let's take a look at what our stars are doing so far in this tournament. Jewel Spear, fantastic. Shut out in the first half today, then went crazy in the second half. Wake with a big come-from-behind win over Florida State. Hannah Hank, a career high against Pitt. Dontavia Wagner, not just playing, she's dealing with some injuries, but 16 points off the bench in a win against Georgia Tech yesterday. And a steal by Madison Hayes. Mississippi State transfer, biggest lead of the game, 7 points for the Pack. 8-9 matchup in the ACC. Winner gets top-seeded Notre Dame tomorrow. Big question mark for Notre Dame, the status of Olivia Miles. Heard in the season closer against Louisville.
What an effort by Notre Dame and the Irish to be able to continue to challenge and win that ball game. Sonia Citron was outstanding. KK Bransford as Georgia Woolley knocks down the three.
Georgia Woolley, who was the freshman of the year in the MAC last year with Buffalo, knocks down her first three of the game. River Baldwin just backs in to get her 10th point.
There's just nobody that can check River Baldwin down low. She does a good job of getting deep position. She's efficient when she gets the ball. If you're the Wolfpack, you want to keep feeding her.
Just averaging 5.5 points per game, already into double digits. Wow, Fair went right in to Baldwin, and it's a blocking call.
Syracuse is a team that averages 6 threes a game, and Georgia Woolley knocks down a long, high arcing three. And then River Baldwin just going to work inside. There is no answer for her.
The foul on Baldwin sends Fair to the line, where she is an 82% shooter, one of the best in the conference. Career at Buffalo, translating very well into Syracuse.
Yeah, I mean, you look at those numbers, and she really is just able to score in bunches.
Listed at 5'5". Amy Collins back rims it. Woolley comes up with it. Here's Perkins, the freshman. Travel, and Denise Brooks got it. 5th turnover now for the Orange. Collins looking for Baldwin and then lost the ball. Fair over James. And Woolley picked it up. Rebound taken down by Collins. Inside Baldwin, another good catch. And then a tie up. But the possession arrow stays with NC State. So River Baldwin, as you mentioned, has really made a huge impact coming off the bench for Camille Hobby. 5 of 5 from the floor for Baldwin. Played at a very small high school in Alabama. Some growing pains initially at Florida State and now contributing at NC State. Tyra Wood, the rebound. Wilson settling things down. Shot clock winding down. They're not going to get a shot off. 6th turnover, and there is a look at Diamond Johnson, who is not going to play in the ACC tournament. And with and without her, you see the points per game are way down. Very different team when she's not, and even when she's on there, I mean, those numbers are skewed because even when Diamond played a lot this year, a great drive by Rivers, she wasn't herself, and we saw a few games where she would go like 1 for 8, 1 for 9 from the floor and just really struggle.
When you see the assist down and the turnovers up, and when you take away Another ball handler on the floor, somebody who's used to running the offense, who's used to getting the ball moving. And now that sole responsibility lies with Sanaya Rivers. It is an adjustment, and it is tough. And Diamond Johnson was also a playmaker. She got to the rim, she got other players the ball, and Madison Hayes, big time three in transition.
And the NC State fans getting engaged here as their team up by 9. Greensboro about an hour or so away from the Triangle area. Hyman. That's a good job by Wood to follow. Wood, another transfer coming over to Syracuse, her first basket.
And Syracuse leads the league in offensive rebounds, 14.5 a ball game. Important to finish the possession if you're the Wolfpack, with great hustle play.
Wilson getting over to Fair, who backs up. Another offensive board for the Orange. Hyman looks back to her coach to get some advice. We'll pull up Jay. Now James, 2-on-1 with Hayes. Try to get it back to her. Terrific hustle by Fair and the rest of her teammates. They messed up that break and scored on the other end. Ariana Lewis, her second basket.
I like it when Syracuse pushes in transition. They're really good when they can put some pressure on the defense. NC State's doing a good job in the half court, quarter court of defending that two-man game. If they can get out, open it up a little bit in transition.
I'll be back in the game to give Baldwin a break. It backed up Lisa Cunane for the first part of her career. James got a hand on the ball. Too much for Rivers. Yep, couldn't catch up. So a timeout on the floor with State up 5.
Madison Hayes giving her team a lift off the bench. She's got 5 early in this ball game. The three-point shot in transition. I think she's liking that, huh?
Welcome back to the legendary Greensboro Coliseum. We're in our second game of the day between Syracuse and NC State. Wolfpack with a 5-point lead. And despite Syracuse being down at this point, you have to argue that they're one of the hottest teams coming into this tournament. They won their last 2 regular season games, or in hopes to get into the NCAA tournament. But Coach Legette Jack was telling her team pregame, no one in this tournament has been through more than what you have been through in this season, alluding to their revamping of their roster. They had 7 players that came in that are new faces. 4 players actually returned. And she said, I challenged every single mid-major player to be their absolute best in the ACC. She said, we only won 4 games last year in league play. They come in with 9. She was harder on them because she wanted to make sure this was the group that she can go out and compete with every night.
As Deasia Fair gets a 3 to go, and it really is remarkable, all the new faces, but we're seeing this more and more in not just women's basketball because of the transfer portal, but Legette Jack really had to retool this club. As Angel mentioned, they won 4 league games, only won 11 overall last year. Some rough bumps in the road as Camille Hobby gets her first basket. And she has brought in kids from Buffalo. She's brought in a handful with her from Buffalo. Kyra Wood went to Temple. And some of these mid-major kids come in almost with a little chip on their shoulder, right? Coming in trying to prove themselves by these Power 5 schools, so-called, that overlook them.
Absolutely, you come in, you want to prove that you belong, and this is a program and a team that has players who have done that.
Legette Jack doing such a fine job at Buffalo. Coming back to her alma mater. It's got to be special coming back to coach your alma mater. Played with Vera Jones, right?
We played with Vera Jones, that's right.
One of our friends and colleagues.
NC State needs to continue to pound it inside. They have the advantage. Continue to get touches down low.
Gone away from that a little bit with Baldwin on the bench. Ball goes back over to Syracuse. There's River off to a fantastic start. 10 points. Has hit all 5 of her shots. Jada Boy ties up the sneakers. Again, the winner of this game gets Notre Dame tomorrow. Quarterfinal action starts tomorrow with the top 4 seeds who get the luxury of a double bye before they play in the tournament. Wake Forest will be playing in its 3rd game in as many days when they play Louisville in our first game tomorrow at 11 Eastern. Drive, that was good defense by Brown Turner.
Oh, give it to her. Camille Hobby showed both numbers. She was really working for position. Missed opportunity.
Hobby has to work a whole lot harder to hang on to it. The ball was touched, so it was not a travel. Brown Turner, good work to get the O board. Hobby finishes. Hobby has 4, so between Hobby and Rivers, that's 14 of their 30 points.
Well, look, they've got an advantage inside. I don't think that Syracuse has anybody who can match up one-on-one with either one of those players. You just got to continue to give them a look, and they have to continue to make good decisions. When to take the move, when to kick it back out.
Boyd muscles her way in, looks for the foul, doesn't get it. Syracuse hasn't scored in almost 3 minutes. That's over, thanks to Hyman. Richard, junior guard, averaged 16 points last year, down to about 10.5 points coming off the bench now for the Orange. 3 seconds difference between the 2 clocks. Rivers is going to milk it as much as she can. Hyman doing a good job of keeping her away from the basket, but then Rivers decides just to attack the rim and gets fouled.
Syracuse foul number 21.
Coming up, we will head over to our left with our sideline, with our studio crew getting ready. We see Kelly Gramlich took a sip of beverage to get herself hydrated, ready to go. Muffet McGraw, got Kelsey Riggs over there. They're working all weekend long, going back to a nice plush hotel, chilling.
I think Kelly was given the 3-point sign, wasn't
Kelly,
she?
Kelly always wants a 3.
Absolutely.
There's Kelly.
Of course, yes. Why not?
Kelly and a +1 over there, working for us. Wilson, Sanaya Wilson picked up her 2nd foul. And the other Sanaya Rivers delivered at the free throw line. Orange got to hurry. Hyman. Almost. NC State takes a 32-26 lead into the locker room, led by River Baldwin's 10 points. The Asia Fair with 7 to lead the way for Syracuse in this 8-9 matchup. Again, the winner gets Notre Dame tomorrow. Let's head over to Angel Gray with Wes.
Coach, it seems like you found the advantage in the first half. Points in the paint, 20-12 that you have. How do you build on that in the second?
Take care of the ball. We're throwing it around. They need to be issuing hard hats out to everybody on the first 5 rows. We got to take care of the ball, you know, and if we do that, we're in good shape. And again, just try to slow them down. They run, they attack the boards. We got to take away easy points.
Well, how about that? You did mention take away easy points. You held them without a point for about 3 minutes. What do you like about what you've been able to do defensively?
Well, I think we've done a pretty good job with pick on the ball defense, things like that. Again, they're really good on the offensive boards. They're really good in transition, and we got to control that. We can control that. We got to do it. Got to do a good job.
I'll get my hard hat. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
All right, Wes Moore talking about the 9 turnovers that his team had, resulting in half of Syracuse's points. No hard hats, but we're going to head over to the studio crew. Kelsey Riggs, Muffet, and Kelly.
Yeah, Pam, we didn't get the hard hat memo, but maybe we'll work on that for later if we keep needing them throughout the second half of this game alongside the Hall of Famer Muffet McGraw, Kelly Gramlich. I'm Kelsey Riggs. Great to be with you. And NC State with the 32-26 lead at the break. NC State, one of just 2 teams in the ACC that is undefeated when they are up at the half. Kelly, what do you like about what they've been able to do on the inside and really take advantage of their size?
They know they have the size advantage, and they are pounding the rock inside to River Baldwin and Camille Hobby, who have both been excellent, combined for 14 points. River Baldwin, that's one of the best halves I've ever seen her play. 5 for 5 from the field. And Syracuse, we've talked about it all year, Coach, doesn't have the size. In the end, River Baldwin has that kind of half. You're only down 6. Syracuse very much in it, but NC State doing what we thought they should.
Yeah, and I think they need more River Baldwin. That's what we need to see. Jada Boyd spending some time down on the block. She's a tough matchup for Syracuse on the block because she's so mobile. Hobby, maybe she could do a little bit more, but I like what they're doing right now.
This NC State team is 4-0 when River Baldwin scores 10 or more. She already has 10 in the first half. On the other side of things, Coach, we talked a lot heading into this game about Syracuse. When they get going offensively, when Deasia Fair is hitting, they look like a different team. What do they need to do to get her going? She's got 7 in the first half.
Well, I'm not sure if she's being aggressive right at the beginning because I didn't think the defense was that good on her. Sanaya Rivers doing a good job, but then she gets the quick foul and West switched it up, which I thought was a smart idea. Interesting, they're icing the ball screen at the point. Sometimes the post is not aware that they're icing the ball screen. She's ready for the hard hedge. They got to get that together.
Yeah, the communication on the ball screen is going to be key, especially with Deasia Fair. But I think what Wes said is really true. They're keeping Syracuse in the half court. They're not letting Syracuse get out and run as much, and it's a bit congested. Syracuse is going to have to hit some threes in the second half to open things up for Fair. I think Georgia Woolley is a big key for the Cuse in the second half.
You know, that 1-3 that Fair got, they left her in the corner wide open to go double team on the block. You never go down on the ball side, and you never leave Fair.
Not on Fair. Coach threw something when that happened. She threw something.
You mentioned Woolley. She has 5 points in the first half. Last time these 2 teams played, she had 23. She has the opportunity to get things going. We will see what happens. It's been a great day so far here at the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament, and we've got more coming. We'll show you what happened in Game 1 of the day. A great one between Florida State and Wake Forest, and 2 more games on deck after this one. We'll have more for you live from Greensboro after this. Nothing but net, 10:30 after the final game between Miami and Boston College tonight on ACC Network. Meanwhile, Otto the Orange playing some good defense. We have Mr. Wolf playing some defense on Terrence, Deasia Fair's dad. He says, what's up with this? Come on. We'll see if his girl can get it going in the second half. Syracuse trailing NC State at the break.
Welcome back to Champ Week in the Ally ACC Women's Tournament. And Deasia's Fair dad, Terrence Singleton, was out there trying to score some hoops on the NC State mascot during the break. Proud father of his very talented daughter who plays for Syracuse. They're down 6 as we get ready for the second half. Tam Ward along with Steph White and Angel Gray with us as well. Let's go right to it. Food Lions, food for thought.
Execution on the interior, particularly River Baldwin. She went to work early, and when they came with the double, she made the right play. You see multiple defenders come to double team. The rotation is late. River Baldwin's able to deliver the pass on time. Jakia Brown-Turner with the easy 2. And here again, multiple defenders. There's no rotation on the backside. But when the rotation comes, Jada Boyd makes the right play. She attacks the closeout, forces another rotation on the backside. Deasia Fair recovers to Madison Hayes, and Madison Hayes making the extra pass to get the best shot on the floor. That is textbook execution against the 2-3 zone.
Winner gets top seed Notre Dame tomorrow. You take a look at the numbers. NC State shooting well, but Wes Moore lamenting the turnovers, the 9 turnovers turning into 13 Syracuse points. That's the comment of the weekend so far. People needing hard hats because they're throwing the ball all over the gym. But yeah, River Baldwin, perfect. Coming off the bench, she does not start the second half. Came in for Camille Hobby. JBT with the miss. Lewis goes up to get the rebound. Second time these two teams have played. NC State won by 2 when they played in Syracuse during the regular season. In what has been a very interesting and unpredictable ACC season. Rice picks up her dribble, has to go to Woolley. Everybody says she walked except the ones that matter. Let's go over to Angel Gray.
As far as the adjustments for Coach Legette Jack, she was telling me that the advantage for NC State at this point, 20-12 in the paint, she's not really worried about that. She said she was more concerned coming into this game, giving up threes. They only gave up 2 threes in the first half. And she also challenged her team to finish under contact. She was saying that they weren't being as tough as they can be throughout this ball game. The message, this is March, leave it all on the floor.
Thank you, Angel. And right away we saw Camille Hobby getting 2 more points in the paint. Hobby and Rivers combining to hurt Syracuse down low so far in this game. Woolley, one of the Buffalo transfers who came over with their head coach, gets the basket and a chance for an old-fashioned 3-point play.
Georgia Woolley looking to attack in this third quarter. Nice little hesitation. Strong finish with the contact. Georgia Woolley, you mentioned it, was the Rookie of the Year a year ago for Buffalo in the MAC conference. Came over with Coach Legette Jack, and you know, when you have players who transfer with you, you have a little bit of a foundation. They understand the system, they understand expectations, they can be leaders even though they're in a new program.
The adjustment period a little less since they're so familiar with each other, and she had a handful of players come over with her, including Fair and Woolley, her 2 highest scorers on that team at Buffalo. Did such a wonderful job at Buffalo, and now back at her alma mater. First woman to have her jersey retired in women's basketball history at Syracuse. Lewis called for the reach-in. Her first year at Syracuse. Great student athlete. All-American, academic All-American. Ariana Lewis. Transfer herself. Oh, that looked like a chancy pass into Boyd. Somehow it got through.
This formula is really working for NC State to keep getting the ball inside. They're doing a great job attacking the seam of the zone, the diagonal. You mentioned it, they saw the angle. Jada Boyd does a good job of meeting the pass, coming to it, getting an opportunity at the foul line.
Jada Boyd on the line for State.
6 different NC State players with an assist. I mean, it's outstanding. 10 assists on 14 made field goals. Doing a really good job of sharing the basketball, and that's how you have to attack it if you're the Wolfpack. Multiple players have to be involved. You've got to score by committee. You've got to put pressure on the defense by keeping it moving.
And just to remind everybody, no Diamond Johnson, their leading scorer, out again. Nursing a sore right foot, been walking around in the boot. We do not expect her until the NCAA tournament. There's Diamond, averaging 12.5 points per game, leading her team also in assists, 3-point percentage, free throws, made threes, steals, so that's a lot missing in one little 5'5" package. Boyd called for her first foul. Fair left open. Just off the back of the rim. Brown Turner turns on the Jets and goes coast to coast. Lead back up to half a dozen. Woolley thought about it and thought about it again, didn't shoot it. Fair into the lane, kicking it out, way off the mark. Hobby able to wrestle away the rebound and then waits for Sanaya Rivers to come. A lot put on Rivers' shoulders with Johnson's injury as far as being a ball handler. 6th player of the year in the league this season. Hobby somehow found Boyd. That's a great look.
The interior passing has been terrific. Yeah. The double team has to come because there's no answer one-on-one for Hobby or River Baldwin inside, and both of those players making the right play, finding their open teammates.
Woolley with some contact. They're going to call it an arm bar on the defender.
In the poise. Inside, Camille Hobby, she gets the double team. She stays strong with the ball. She sees the other defender come over. Jada Boyd makes herself available. This is just a heads-up play by Camille Hobby.
And Hobby, along with Brown Turner, the only two Wolfpack players to start every game this year. Camille graduated in December of last year, now in the Masters program. Has been a consummate team player. Mentioned how she backed up Elisa Cunane, now pressed into the starter's role. Really enjoying her experience at NC State. Slight delay here. Okay. They have changed the foul from Jada Boyd to Jakia Brown Turner, so that was the delay. Wanted to make sure they got it right. James, terrific steal to get in front of Woolley. And then goes all the way to the basket. Little look away head fake. James's first points. Biggest lead of the game. Double digits now for the Pack. Asia Fair getting it over to her wide open teammate Lewis.
Wes Moore told Angel at halftime he was happy with how they were defending the ball screen. That time Lewis got loose. The recovery wasn't quite quick enough. Nice. Those diagonals, those seams are there against the zone. The timing of making the pass is so important, and NC State has done a really good job of delivering.
Yeah, that was a perfect pass into Brown Turner, the assist to James. JBT now with 9 for State. Woolley able to find some room and then missed everything except the cheerleaders.
Isaiah James in transition, able to split the D with the fake pass, get the easy 2, and then continuing to move against the zone. Jakia Brown Turner gets in the inside of the bottom of the zone, and Isaiah James finds her.
NC State now plus 14 points in the paint in this game. Brown Turner sits down. Madison Hayes coming back in for Westmore. Again, this is the 3-time defending tournament champion, NC State Wolfpack. Nice poach by James to grab the offensive board.
I've been impressed with Isaiah James. She's a player who early in the season and even last season ago didn't get a lot of minutes. Has increased her minutes because of necessity with injury and has been ready and taken advantage of it. Initially a sub on the wing. Diamond Johnson goes down, has to place point guard. Started at point guard when Tanaya Rivers was out as well against Virginia Tech and answered with a career high, and is doing a really good job of being a facilitator for this team.
Absolutely. Hobby with the bucket. James had 20 points in that game at Virginia Tech when they were down both Rivers and Johnson. A game that the Hokies eventually won.
It's just really another example of you got to be ready when your number's called. If you don't get the minutes that you want or that you think you should have, when you do get them, you got to take advantage, and Isaiah James has done that.
NC State up a dozen as we hit a break in Greensboro.
They've been waiting since 1991. The Pack is back on top.
This season has been nothing but crazy. One thing's going to be consistent, that NC State is ACC champions.
For the 3rd year in a row, ACC champions.
That's called a 3-peat, Kelly. All right.
Absolutely, 3 in a row for the NC State Wolfpack, including that game winner by Reina Perez last year to win the championship, and Westmore, certainly the domination. Last loss in the semis to Louisville 4 years ago. And they come in to this tournament as the number 8 seed, leading Syracuse 47-35. Out of the timeout, nice play by Lewis to bury it for Syracuse. But Syracuse, we talked in the open about Deasia Fair, very dynamic scorer. She's only 2 of 11 from the floor for them.
Yeah, she struggled. She's gotten some open looks, hasn't quite gotten them to fall, but the last time these two teams met, she had 14, but she was 6 of 23 from the floor.
Baldwin in the game for the first time since the second quarter, takes steps, one of her few mistakes, hit all 5 of her shots in the first half. The 10th turnover for NC State, but only the first in this half. They had 9 at the half, and that made Westmore a little cranky. Baldwin couldn't come up with it. Bodies crashing to the floor. It's NC State basketball. Deasia Fair right now is on the bench for the Orange, averaging 20 points per game, second only to Tanaya Latson in the league this year. Latson unfortunately could not play for Florida State due to an undisclosed injury today. Hello, Sanaya Rivers. Her first points of the second half. Now James in the open court. This scary sight. Blew right by Woolley. Terrific pass to Hayes. Diamond Johnson loving what she's seeing. They've made 9 of their last 10 shots. We're back in Greensboro for the ACC Women's Tournament. A few minutes ago, we saw Olivia Miles in the crowd, and then when she walked off, not a good sign. Remember, she hurt her right knee in the last game against Louisville, not wearing a brace. No cane or crutches or anything. That is Michaela Mabry in the middle and Carol Owens on the right, 2 of the assistants for Notre Dame who are scouting. They will play the winner of this game, but that is not good what we just saw from Olivia Miles.
No, it certainly isn't, and you know, you just had hoped, right, that when you saw her go down, and you just hoped that maybe it wasn't as bad as it seems, and certainly we don't have any answers on what it is, but judging by the way that she looked walking out of the arena, it doesn't look good.
No, that is certainly unfortunate for the number 1 seed. They were able to come from behind and beat Louisville on the road without her. Remember, she got hurt with about 2.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter against Louisville. Sonia Citron was tremendous the rest of the way, and they likely will be without her for at least the rest of the ACC tournament. There is no official word on Miles, still saying tentative and day-to-day, but this was the injury. Driving, and the knee buckled as she went down. The right knee, that's not good. And we were there, and she was obviously in distress and upset, came out, had ice on it. Later on, they wrapped the entire leg. Olivia Miles is one of the best players in the country, not just in this league. And boy, it's tough at any time, but to get injuries this late. Niele Ivey doing such a great job, Coach of the Year in the league this year, taking them to first.
And a team that had already lost Dare Mabry earlier in the year to an ACL injury, but the resilience of that group to be able to put together the second half that they did. Sonia Citron, you mentioned, KK Bransford was terrific as well, and able to come away with an ACC title.
Notre Dame has won every time they've come into the ACC tournament as a number 1 seed. Remember early on when they came over and joined the league, they dominated for the first few years. McGraw, head coach, 5 straight championships. Woolley. We have 2 Georges from Australia in this tournament.
We absolutely do.
We'll get to see the other one tomorrow.
One of my favorite point guards in Georgia Amore.
For Virginia Tech. Rattled home. Boy, Isaiah James showing us some stuff, right? Just flashes of just how good she is, how athletic.
6 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, making the right play, playing under control.
And a collision. James running into Wilson. Willie's going to grab it. He's going to get Rivers for the reach in, but right now the concern is with Sanaya Wilson. Karen McKinney is the trainer for the Orange. Mai Forsberg telling both teams, with the lead official, to go to their benches. Looks like they're going to go over and look at the monitor to see if there was any flagrant contact on that.
Well, initially it looked like Isaiah James and Sanaya Wilson collided heads.
The play is on review for a potential unobserved intentional foul.
That was Mai Forsberg telling us. Let's take a look at it.
I mean, that was just both players going for the ball, heads were down.
And unfortunately for Sanaya Wilson, she got the worst of it.
It's a loose ball, both players going after it.
So I will anticipate that this will not be ruled an intentional foul.
I can't imagine. It's a loose ball, hustle plays. Both players going for it, head down, they collide.
After review, the contact is deemed incidental. Play will resume with Syracuse number 5 shooting the bonus free throws.
Good job by the officials. And that's got to hurt both players, right? Head on head, but certainly nothing intentional. Doesn't make it hurt any less, but good job by the officials. And it was Isaiah James who knocked heads with Wilson, and we saw Isaiah over there holding her head as well. Wilson, a sophomore from Rochester, New York, another of the Buffalo players who followed Coach Jack over. The Asia Fair's dad among those up and cheering. All the fans here at Greensboro Coliseum, some encouragement. Certainly hope that Sanaya is okay. Just very careful, particularly with head injuries now in this day and age. And for now, at least, it looks like they're going to sit her down on the bench and do some evaluation. Meanwhile, there was a foul on Sanaya Rivers. Georgia Woolley heading to the free throw line to shoot 2 for the Orange.
2 shots.
James staying in the game, appears to be okay. And again, Woolley missed the last game for Syracuse because she was in concussion protocol, but looking well today. She's got 14 points. Minute 30 to go here in the third quarter. Ball thrown inside, taken away. Woolley lost it.
NC State.
Turnover number 10 for Syracuse. James, nice pass into Boyd, get it right back to her, open look, couldn't fall. Fair, 1-on-2, little pull up, and D'Asia gets her 9th point of the game. Just her 3rd field goal in 13 attempts.
NC State needs to get a good high percentage look right here. They've dominated on the interior. They need to try to go back.
Yeah, they tried to get it into Rivers off her hands, or River Baldwin, pardon me, but last touch to Syracuse player.
That looked like one of the easier passes. Baldwin had caught a couple of really hard ones in this ball game.
Baldwin 5 for 5 in the first half with 10 points. Has not taken a shot yet here in the 3rd quarter. Hobby playing most of the minutes to start things off after the half. Oh, a little nifty move there by Baldwin.
She found herself wide open.
Fair. Nope. Shot clock is off now for the Pack.
And that was one of those situations where if you're Syracuse, you probably want to get a last shot of the quarter. Don't want to give NC State another chance.
James, Baldwin trying again. Three seconds now for Syracuse to try to go the length of the court. They've been outscored by 5 here in the 3rd quarter. And the NC State Wolfpack up by 11 as we head to the 4th. River Baldwin doing good work.
Yes, she had a double team, a triple team, and was able to split them, get the easy 2. She stays perfect from the floor.
Just one day to crown champion. College game day gets it all started. And then we're going all day long on Women's College Championship Sunday.
Yep, Championship Sunday coming your way in just a few days, including the championship from right here. The ACC tournament, quarterfinals start tomorrow. Wake Forest with a thrilling come-from-behind win over Florida State. 26-0 run in that game, Steph White.
I'm still in shock of what we saw in that second half. I mean, Jules Spear and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons went to work in the second half.
I think a lot of people, I was talking, turn the game on thinking, oh, it's, 20-point lead, it's probably over. Au contraire.
It's March. You should never turn the game off.
Absolutely not. And now we see Sanaya Wilson being helped back to the locker room, knocked heads with Isaiah James, and took the worst of it. And she is being helped back by the medical staff of Syracuse. And another look, James to Collins.
Yeah, NC State just doing such a good job of finding those seams in the zone. Syracuse not able to recover. That weak side wing has to drop.
NC State shot 73% in the 3rd quarter. They hit 11 shots, 7 different players.
And 15 assists. And that's the thing. It's like when we've seen NC State really struggle on offense, everybody tries to do it on their own. The ball gets stuck. It's not moving. They aren't getting production from multiple players, and they certainly have here today.
That time, the double on Baldwin resulted in a turnover.
Well, finding the seams in the zone is key. And on this defensive shift, right there on the backside, there is no rotation, no drop, and NC State able to capitalize.
The Syracuse have a nice comeback in them. Fair into double figures after that. She scored in double figures now in all 30 games for the Orange this season. Baldwin, extra pass.
And that time, Bryce was able to get there. She dropped, she was able to get a hand on the ball, get a deflection.
Good catch by Woolley to keep it going. Baldwin coming up with the rebound. Takes a couple of dribbles.
And I know it doesn't seem like this, but I mean, Syracuse is still in striking distance. They got to get a couple of stops.
Yeah, only an 11-point deficit. They can score in bunches.
That's right. Get a couple of stops, come down, get some good offensive execution, or get out in transition. And if you're NC State, you can't take your foot off the gas pedal. You've got to continue to execute at a high level. Every possession is important.
Baldwin right back up. She is perfect from the floor. 7 for 7. Fair draws contact out on the perimeter.
NC State foul number 21, Madison Hayes, her second.
Hayes picks up her second. Kyra Wood comes back in for the orange. Strong takes a seat. Now Fair into double figures with her last bucket. River Baldwin has not missed a shot coming off the bench, and really the paint points piling up for State. In and out for Woolley. Collins. Turned, fired.
That wasn't a good shot. River Baldwin was diving down the lane. She was wide open. Even if you don't pass it, get the ball moving.
Elena Rice with a full head of steam got fouled on her way to the bucket. Brown Turner just picked up her third foul. Only the second team foul. Fair guarded out there by Hayes. Woolley driving, one-handed. Baldwin ripped it away, and they're going to call the foul on Woolley.
Syracuse foul number 5, Georgia Woolley, her first team foul.
And another foul on Woolley. Two quick ones on the Aussie.
Syracuse foul number 5, Georgia Woolley, her second personal, second team foul.
Baldwin doubled. Dribbled out of trouble. Shot clock at 5. They need a shot from Hayes. Big time.
Just when you think Syracuse can close the gap and maybe get over the hump, the Wolfpack come back with an answer. And it's been multiple players, and I think that's what's been so impressive about the effort today for NC State. Shot clock winding down. Jakia Brown-Turner finds Maddie Hayes, knocks down the three from the corner. Tanaya Rivers is loving it. The bench is loving it.
Hayes just picked up her third foul on the other end. Largest lead of the game right now for Syracuse. Baldwin might have gotten a finger on that shot. Fair, trying to create something on her own. Baldwin having herself a ball game. That's her 7th rebound to go along with 14 points, and the Wolfpack faithful starting to think they're going to get a shot at Notre Dame tomorrow. JPT, timeout. Syracuse, the palindromic score, 64-46. Pack in control. The Ally ACC Women's Tournament is brought to you by Ally. Whatever you're saving for, we're all better off with an Ally. NC State with a 64-46 lead in the second round game against Syracuse, and they have been shooting the ball very well here in the second half. It's over 71%. They are plus 12 in points. River Baldwin practically perfect in every way, certainly perfect in shooting. 7 for 7, 14.7 boards. And the paint points are very one-sided.
Yeah, 44-22 advantage, NC State. The other thing that's been impressive, and Pam, we've seen this NC State team a lot this season, is just the way they're sharing the basketball.
Yeah, it's very impressive. Lewis ties up Hobby. For more on State, let's go over to Angel Gray.
Even though the Wolfpack are down Diamond Johnson, there has to be a clear advantage because of experience, but we will get more into that as soon as we come back from break. Right now, Wolfpack with the 10-point advantage. Wolfpack have a healthy lead, 64-46 over Syracuse. And just talking about their experience in this tournament, Camille Hobby, Jada Boyd, and Jakia Brown-Turner are a part of that 9-0 ACC tournament record in the 4 seasons that they've been with this team. But also 7 of the Pack's 9 players have appeared in at least one ACC tournament game in their career. So understanding not only how to win, but what it takes to win a title together in this time in March.
Yeah, they have had nothing but success here. Hobby with the score for State on that trip. And then a foul underneath. Lewis got into the paint. Well, this is an NC State team that finally won the regular season last year after a drought that had gone back to 1990, which is remarkable. It took that long to get the regular season title, but 3 straight titles in the ACC tournament. A reminder to fans to download the ACC 3-Point Challenge app presented by New York Life to help benefit local boys and girls clubs. Score points for your school. After the tournament, local boys and girls clubs receive a donation from New York Life based on their affiliated ACC teams' final ranking. Last foul was on Camille Hobby for State. Woolley hounded by Rivers out on the perimeter. Hyman gave it to Lewis, who was able to wriggle her way in for a basket. Now a whistle on the other end of the floor. NC State less than 5 minutes away from a rematch with Notre Dame, a team that they beat during the regular season. And you talked about it, Steph. The paint has belonged, or the lack thereof. It's kind of empty here. It's a very beautiful court. Hobby with 2 more paint points.
Well, NC State's just had the clear advantage inside. They have the advantage with Camille Hobby and with River Baldwin on the interior, just from a sheer size and physicality standpoint. But then being able to find the open seams in the zone, make the high to low, the short corner to post dive passes, and find easy buckets.
River Baldwin taking a break on the bench. Baldwin and Hobby a combined 13 for 17 from the floor for 26 points. Baldwin has not missed a shot. All 7 have gone in, as you see. We knew they would have the advantage in the paint, but this is a huge one. They have doubled them up, 48-24 in paint points. Almost as many paint points as Syracuse has point points.
Syracuse foul number 24, Dariana Lewis, her 3rd. 5th orange team.
Lewis just picked up her 3rd personal foul. That sends Camille Hobby to the free throw line. Perfect trip for Hobby. She joins the party now. 4 NC State players in double figures. Lewis with the miss. Collins and Rice were kind of jostling each other before the shot even went up, and now Rice hits the deck, and Collins is called for her first foul. Fifth team foul, so Syracuse in the bonus the rest of the quarter. Just under 4 minutes left to go. Mind you, there are still 2 more games yet to come tonight. At 6 Eastern, North Carolina, Clemson, and then Miami, Boston College. We're wrapping up this second round. Rice delivered at the line. Rivers, that's a low percentage pass, trying to get it into Collins, taken away, 3 ball. Just a little bit too strong. Collins able to get it. And you think they should just take it easy?
Wes Moore getting on Sanaya Rivers. Like, there's no reason to take a chance right here.
Right.
You don't have to make a home run play. Work the clock. Continue to do what got you to this point. Share the basketball, move the basketball, get some ball reversals, and then get the ball inside.
And they get Hyman for the hand check. That is the first one on her.
Syracuse foul, number 4, Tisha Hyman, her first. Number 15, Asia Strong, Rice Bay Orange. Sanaya Rivers shoots 2.
So Sanaya Rivers heads to the free throw line to shoot 2. Both teams in the bonus. The 70th annual New York Life Men's ACC Tournament begins Tuesday afternoon right here in this building. We'll have all 3 first-round games for you at 2, 4:30, and 7 Eastern, respectively, on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. There are a lot of trucks out there in the compound, a lot of production trucks. They're going to be busy next week.
They are, sure are.
We're busy here with this women's tournament that runs through Sunday.
All the conference tournaments throughout the country. Exciting times right now with women's basketball, the parity.
And we will be heading to the Big Ten to do their championship on Sunday. Can't wait for that.
Absolutely.
That's another league, like the ACC this year, that has just been fantastic.
It sure is. The depth, the parity, the scoring.
Wouldn't mind a little dose of Caitlin Clark on Sunday. Take a look at our Bojangles Big Bow moment of tonight's game. And it's River Baldwin.
Well, she was terrific. I mean, she was perfect from the floor and came in, made an immediate impact in the ball game, made the right play, not just scoring around the rim, but when she was doubled, making the extra pass, getting the ball moving.
Five for 5 in the first half, 2 for 2 here in the second for River. And let's update that. That's good work.
It sure is. 48 points in the paint to 51 total points for Syracuse. NC State really has dominated the interior.
River Baldwin and Camille Hobby doing most of the work for them. Inside in the post game, Hyman with the 3. Syracuse takes the timeout. Hyman, the 3rd, check that 4th Syracuse player now into double figures. So earlier today, we had one of the most bizarre games I've seen. Wake Forest was down 20 early in the 4th quarter, and then Jewel Spear and the rest of her teammates went on a 26-0 run. Never looked back. Upset Florida State, and they get Louisville tomorrow.
Jewel Spear was over in the first half, and she even talked to Angel about getting in her head a little bit, but boy, she came out of it in the second half.
A very exciting team. Megan Jebbia, the first-year head coach, came over from American University, and Wake Forest, 4 straight years they've won 1 game in the ACC tournament that they have advanced, and now they've won a couple. Always a challenge playing their 3rd game in 3 days, but they will get Louisville, the team they beat in the regular season. So this tournament So unpredictable, but and you mentioned this earlier, we had called quite a few NC State games. This is the best I've seen them as far as the ball movement.
It is, since we had them earlier in the year at Iowa, where they played outstanding.
That was their best.
Yes, and beat Iowa on the road, but they had been up and down and inconsistent throughout ACC play, and certainly this is one of the best efforts.
Doing this all without Diamond Johnson, who has been shut down for the ACC tournament, trying to get that right foot healed. She's got it over there in a boot.
It's always tough when you have an injury like that. Diamond Johnson missed a few games, came back, tried to play on it, maybe came back, a little bit too early, but you're a competitor. You want to play, and then you just can't quite work through it. It's something that is likely not going to be healed until you get time to rest after the season, but Wes Moore deciding to shut her down. We want to try to make sure that she's available for the NCAA tournament.
Real hobby. So Hobby with 16, Baldwin with 14. That's 30 points from the two post players for Coach Moore. And now that is a season high in paint points for NC State, 52. Hyman at the line, and now Syracuse just has sit and hope that they stay on the correct side of the bubble. In their case, Charlie Cream has them as one of the final teams in to the NCAA tournament. They would be the 9th ACC team in, according to Charlie. This is when you hope that there's not a lot of upsets in the so-called one-bid leagues, right?
Yes.
That the regular season champs can close out the tournament. But a terrific job in the first season at Syracuse, a total overhaul of the personnel, the program itself. Rivers just picked up her 3rd foul. There are the last 4 in, and you see Syracuse right there at the bottom. In Oregon, here's a team that lost 7 straight games during the season, and they are almost in.
They are, the first 4 out. So if Oregon makes a run in the Pac-12 tournament, what does that do to Syracuse? Not just the one-bid leagues and having a upset champion, but you think about Oregon being able to make a run.
And right now, Syracuse should be the biggest Stanford fans in the world, because that's who Oregon will play next. Stanford showing that they've been human with some Pac-12 losses this season.
It's just outside of what Dawn Staley and South Carolina have been able to do. And they even had a few scares. Ole Miss, Yolette McEwen's squad.
Yep, had to go to overtime.
Had to go to overtime. And teams that have played them tight, but they have been the most dominant team all season long. Certainly the favorite, no question about it. But after that, it's been up for grabs. Indiana and what Terry Morin has done. Consistency, but Caitlin Clark had a dagger for them in that last game of the regular season.
Of course she did. That crazy 3-pointer. Oregon, by the way, playing Stanford in Vegas in a Pac-12 quarterfinal. That game starts in about an hour and a half. Big implications for Syracuse and all the other teams on the bubble. So with the minute left to go in this game, the Wolfpackers happy for what they've seen, and they will get a shot at Notre Dame, a team that they beat in late January, right after Dara Mabry went out. And from the looks of it, it doesn't look like Olivia Miles will be able to play. But a really good team effort. JBT for 3. She's got 16.
I think from the beginning of the ball game, NC State has done a really good job of sharing the basketball. Multiple players contributing, dominating on the interior, and really the most complete effort we've seen from this ball club much of ACC play.
Yeah, so I would say, as you mentioned, since Iowa, when they had that big win on the road the 1st of December, very encouraging. No Diamond Johnson, but a lot of help. Camille Hobby with 16, River Baldwin with 14. JBT also with 16 to lead the way. Syracuse with the loss. They fall to 18 and 12 on the season. Hyman had 15, their leading scorer. Fair just 4 of 17 from the floor. 3-ball not falling for Syracuse, and they lose to the 3-time defending champs here.
Well, give credit to the Wolfpack. Just when you thought Syracuse could start to climb their way in, boy, NC State put their foot back on the gas and made every play necessary to pull away.
54 paint points for NC State. That's a new season high. Diamond Johnson able to rest and applaud and get healthy for the NCAA tournament. So we are set for a couple of quarterfinals tomorrow. Notre Dame and NC State will follow Louisville and Wake Forest, who upset Florida State today. So we will be joining you at 11 a.m. Eastern time for those first 2 quarterfinals. 2 more games yet to come today in the second round on the ACC network. Miami, BC, and Carolina, Clemson. River Baldwin had herself a day. Here she is with Angel Graham.
And you're all smiles. They were talking about you had yourself a day. You were perfect from the field. Between you and Hobby, you had 30 points as well. A season high 54 points for you guys in the paint. At this point, your name should be etched in that area. How were you guys able to impact in that way?
I think for me personally, I just had a little bit of size, took advantage of that. Been working, finishing through contact. I mean, that's all we do. We try to get post touches, and we did that today.
Talk about being done by committee. Coming into this game, you had 5 players that are averaging 8 or more points. You had 5 players finish with double figures. How did it look and how did it feel out there just being able to share the ball so well?
I mean, I think that speaks for how we play for each other. And, I mean, it's a different player's game every night. And, I mean, we don't mind whoever's night it is. We're going to give them the ball and share the ball, and whoever scores, scores, as long as NC State scores.
And it's March, and you continue to advance. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And thanks to River Baldwin. And what a great team effort it was. NC State shot 61% from the floor. They take it 83-58, and we'll play Notre Dame tomorrow. Coming up next, ACC PM for Stephanie White and Angel Gray. I'm Pam Ward saying so long for now from Greensboro.
Man alive, it's basketball time in Greensboro, North Carolina. It's ACC PM. We're back on the road. NC State, a big win today. Wake Forest, a big win today. Taylor Tannenbaum, Mark Packer. And you know what? We're going to chill and grill for the next couple hours. We've got great guests to come up. We've got games to preview tonight. Fans are having fun. NC State fans, a big smile on their face. You know, the Wolfpack gets in this ACC tournament.
He's pumped.
Look at this. He's like, man, where's some cotton candy, some hot
54
dogs?
points in the paint? What? That's what we just did.
You got it. Everybody having a good time in Greensboro, North Carolina. The ACC Women's Tournament, the 46th annual, brought to you by the good folks at Ally. Always a great time. And by the way, as you well know, the nation's longest running women's basketball conference championship. NC State punching their tickets and moving on as they get ready for Notre Dame tomorrow afternoon. And that will be some kind of game. They hooked up late January. Wolfpack won that thing. Again, Mark Packer, Taylor Tannenbaum. How we doing?
I'm doing good. I know they're winning on the court, but we're winning. We've had such an incredible week, Pack.
No doubt.
We went to Virginia for some men's hoops, and we came straight here to Greensboro. Got to spend the next 2 days here watching some incredible women's hoops. We've already seen some upsets, some big wins today, including that one from NC State.
And we've already seen 2 crazy games today. And I know we'll get to the Wake Forest comeback and all that stuff, but we just saw NC State punch their ticket, and they get ready to take on Coach Ivy, the ACC Coach of the Year. And that will be a fascinating game tomorrow afternoon because NC State beat them in their only meeting late January.
And really, it's a matchup of two ACC powers who are used to being in these positions, right? And for Notre Dame, who's coming in as the #1 seed, they had an outstanding season. But for NC State, they fell out of the rankings after 96 weeks ranked. They've been at the pinnacle. They won 3 straight here in Greensboro at the ACC tournament, ACC championships, and they've had an up and down season under Wes Moore. Wes Moore has been honest about the fact that, hey, this has been different for me. We had a lot of experienced players leave last year. We're figuring it out this year, and it hasn't been perfect by any means. But they come in here today and they make a statement with a huge win over a Syracuse team that really, Packett, has been very hot and is right now, as we speak, in the NCAA tournament. So to come out and do this, it shows the experience, it shows the great coaching from Wes Moore, and it shows they have talent on this team. It's not always perfect in the regular season, but you want to be playing your best ball right now, and I think the Wolfpack made a statement.
Well, here's the other thing. You know, these are 2 programs that love the ACC tournament.
Right.
NC State's now won 3 consecutive, looking for a 4th to join just a few other teams like Duke, Carolina, and Notre Dame have done it. And the Irish, all they've done, well, they've won 5 of the last 9 ACC tournaments. Again, Muffet had an incredible run, and now here's Neil Ivey trying to do the same thing and start her deal at Notre Dame. So you got an amazing matchup tomorrow afternoon of championship DNA clubs, right? Like folks that understand how to win big-time games. And it's going to be weird because, you know, we're going to get to Wake Forest here in a second. They knocked off Florida State, and they're going to jump on Louisville. Wake knocked off Louisville earlier this year. So you got the 2 higher-seeded teams, per se, however you want to look at it, the 9 seed and the 12 seed, who are undefeated against true blue bloods in terms of what NC State and Notre Dame, that matchup, and Louisville tomorrow with Wake Forest. So it's
pretty
going to be
much
fun.
a summation of what the ACC has been this year. You never know. It is so deep. It is literally 15 teams deep at this point. Wake Forest seated as a 12 right now, moving on in the tournament after their 2nd win today. But focusing on this NC State game against Syracuse, what was really nice to see about NC State is it was a group effort. And they clearly came in with a game plan to dominate inside the paint. A season high 54 points in the paint, outscored Syracuse by 30 points inside the paint, which was huge. And you know, there was no Diamond Johnson, who was the head of NC State Snakes. She's still out with an injury. They're hoping to get her back for the NCAA tournament. She's kind of day-to-day right now. So with her sidelined, it's a challenge issued to the rest of this team to step up. For Jakia Brown-Turner, you see there. For Jada Boyd, you see there. And then, you know what? You had the bigs in the middle. River Baldwin, who's going to join us here on set in just a little bit, and Camille Hobby. They were outstanding. They came in with the mindset we are going to dominate them around the rim, and they executed the game plan to perfection.
Well, I think, too, when you start talking about NC State and Notre Dame tomorrow, these are 2 teams. Not only have they had great success, they've also had to deal with injuries, right? And both clubs have been able to navigate what happens on that front. So, again, it's all part of that championship DNA. Again, you start looking through past championship lists, how often do you see NC State, how often do you see Notre Dame? There's a reason for that. Great coaching, great players. That's a pretty good combination.
No, it is. And on the Syracuse side of things, right now, you know, they're done for the ACC tournament. They sit and wait because they are in the tournament right now, but other things have to come into play. It would have been nice if they won a game here. That's what they were hoping for.
You know what else is nervous time for them is also not only what happens here, right? There's nothing else you can do. You've been eliminated. But now you got to keep an eye on everything else around the country and hope there's not some crazy tournament deal where you go, holy mackerel, where'd that 8 seed come from when it's still a bit, right? They're sitting teetering on it. And again, the cool thing about this for Syracuse, if they get in, that's going to be at least 9 ACC teams, which will be an all-time record. 8 times the ACC has put teams into the dance, right? 5 times they put 8 teams into the dance, and that's happened in each of the last 7 years. So you're talking about a conference that's got quality, it's got quantity, it's got teams that have won national championships. That's why this is the standard in women's basketball.
No, it is. And you know what? We're hoping to have 9 teams in, and Syracuse has been so much fun to watch this season under first-year head coach Felicia Leggett-Jack. She comes in there and immediately puts an imprint on that program. Not only that, she brought over with her Deasia Fair, who's been so much fun to watch. So not only have they been good, it would also be nice to see Deasia Fair and company still playing throughout the month of March because they've been so much fun to watch. But a really talented ball club, and now they sit and wait, but they've done everything they can do up until this point. And for NC State, they're going to keep it moving because they're trying to four-peat like 3 other teams in the ACC have done. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, again, Duke, Carolina, Notre Dame, they're the ones that have gone back to back to back to back. And it's almost hard to believe in a league as good as this that you could pull off that feat. But that's what the NC State's doing. And sometimes you just get comfortable, right? You kind of get in your zone, and it just kind of feels like NC State gets to the ACC tournament. It's like, hey, you know what? This is where we belong. This is when we play our best basketball. But that game tomorrow afternoon is going to be no joke with Notre Dame and NC State. It's going to be out of sight.
Yeah, and NC State, played this afternoon. They're going to have the turnaround. Notre Dame, they were sitting in the stands watching, and we're still waiting on the status of Olivia Miles. I will say it was good to see her here, not wearing a knee brace. She is on 2 feet. We don't know the health status just
Let me tell you something. When we get to football season, I always kid around. I've never coached a day in my life. I know you can't believe that. But I've always thought it was cool if I was a coach.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you who my quarterback is in football, right?
No.
You're going to find out the day of the game when we break the huddle. I kind of like that Notre Dame's been kind of coy. And again, I don't know if that's been done on purpose or not, but everybody's still buzzing. I'm not getting phone calls from my agent's a Notre Dame alum. He's like, Pack, what do you hear about Olivia? I said, I don't know if she's playing or not. I got no earthly idea.
Tell him to come to Greensboro and watch
he's
if he
not.
wants to find
He
out.
is a Notre Dame nut. He loves women's basketball. And so he's like, you need to find out what's going on with Olivia. I said, hey, listen, you know when you're going to find out? Game day. And I kind of like the fact that they're kind of keeping her under wraps from that perspective. But here's the other thing, too. I think if you're Notre Dame, yeah, you'd love to win the ACC tournament, right? There's no question. Everybody who's here wants to win it. But you know what? You also want to get healthy for the deep run in March. And this is a team that could win the national championship, big picture. So, I think from that perspective, you also have to think big picture. But Olivia Miles is big time. So we hope she plays because she's such a great player.
It is good to see her on 2 feet, whether she's limping or not. But to see her not in a big brace and she is able to be in this building is a great sign moving forward for the Irish.
No doubt. All right, quick break. When we come back, guess what? We're going to have ourselves a River Fest.
We're going down the river,
nuts.
baby.
She went crazy against Syracuse. There she is waving. She's ready to hang out with her teammates, get off her feet, and get ready for the Irish tomorrow. But she's going to join us on set right here in Greensboro. It's ACC PM on the road, getting you ready for another awesome night of women's college basketball. ACC PM, Greensboro Coliseum, NC State, Syracuse just played, and Taylor, Wolfpack put on a show.
Let's see how this one went down. Midway through the third quarter, NC State up 8. Isaiah James steal, makes a move, scores a layup, coast to coast. NC State up 41-31, double digits at that point. Later in the third, up 9 now. River Baldwin. Man, she was making a living inside the paint today. NC State up 55-44 at that point. They were also shooting it from beyond the arc too. But never mind that, 54 points in the paint today, a season high for NC State, 83-58 win to move on in the ACC tournament. And like I said, River Baldwin, have you paid your rent yet inside the paint? Because I think it's due. You spent a lot of time.
Always do.
Around the basket today. Big win for you today. River Baldwin joining us now on set. When you go out there for a game like this and you finish the way that you did, what was your mindset before this game? How do you get ready?
I mean, no matter the impact you make throughout the season, this is a new season. It's March. It's time to turn it up, and anybody can win any day. It can be anybody's day. So you just got to turn it up and be ready.
River, you know what's funny? I was sitting there watching you while you were watching the highlights a second ago, and I could tell you're still in game mode. I mean, I know we just played, but you were concentrating so intently watching the highlights. It feels like, you're like, hey, you know what? Studying tape, let's go. We got Notre Dame tomorrow. I mean, but you got to get some rest here. You guys are used to winning this tournament. So is Notre Dame. This thing's going to be some kind of matchup tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. And, yeah, I mean, it's the adrenaline, I guess, still tuned in. And, I mean, we have Notre Dame tomorrow, so you don't even really have time to check up. I mean, you got to stay focused.
When you're watching those highlights, when you watch this, are you like, I should have done this better?
Always.
Critiquing yourself in this tape right now?
Always.
What did you feel like, if you could self-critique from your performance today, which was outstanding, by the way, 14 points and 7 rebounds. What did you like, and what do you feel like you can even do better tomorrow?
I mean, you can always crush the boards harder. I mean, I finished through contact better than I have all season, really, this year. So, I mean, there's always room for improvement I had a turnover or 2 or whatever I had. But, I mean, limit turnovers, rebound harder, and get it done.
Guess what, River? I'll tell you what you cannot do better tomorrow. Guarantee it. You can't be better from the field. I mean, 7 for 7. I mean, El Perfecto from the field. I mean, you can't top that. That's as good as it gets.
It's that time of year. You got to do what you got to do.
What is it about this tournament, though, for NC State? I mean, you've been part of an amazing run here. You've seen what this is about. We talk about championship DNA with all these teams in terms of whether we're talking about football, basketball, baseball, whatever. NC State has it. You guys get in this tournament. It almost feels like, you know what, this is our comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, my first year here, I walked in and you're held to a standard. This is what NC State does. So to come into a program that expects that of you and holds you to that standard, I mean, it makes you a better player.
When you transferred from Florida State, what was the reason you wanted to come play for Westmore? Probably was one of the number one reasons, and for this program.
I mean, the winning culture. I mean, I only had 2 years left at the beginning, so I mean, you want to go out with a bang. You want to get all the experiences, and I mean, I felt like NC State is where I could do that.
What about Notre Dame? Give me your thoughts. I mean, I know it seems like it was 1,000 years ago since you played them. They've been so good, so consistent. So is NC State. What do you remember about that first game?
I honestly am very focused on just like what just happened. So honestly, I can't remember.
It's been a long season.
What really happened. And so, I mean, if we do like we did today, we got, 50-something paint points. If we get in the paint and play together like I know we can and distribute the ball and just play together and for each other, I know we can do it.
When you're out there and when Camille Hobby is having a game that she's having as well, coming off the game she just had as well, what's your communication like when you guys, you can tell, are both really feeling it?
Yeah, so I feel like we play for each other, right. And when one is on the court, when she's on the court, I'm screaming. When I'm on the court, she's screaming. I mean, we play the same position, but we complement each other really well. And when one is on and the other isn't, we know the other one's going to step up.
What's Coach Moore's comments to everybody? I mean, again, you guys have won this thing so often. Is he calm, cool, and collected, or is he still the wild man in terms of energy and enthusiasm? Maybe a combination.
Always the energy. He keeps the energy. I mean, he's just very focused on to the next. He said he's leaving right now to watch film on Notre Dame. So
when will you start watching film?
Tonight.
Tonight? Yeah. What are you going to do for the next few hours? I know you have to get off your feet, rest up a little bit. I asked when we were in the break, I'm like, you tired? She's like, no, I could go play another quarter. What are you talking about? What are you going to do for the next couple of hours before you really sit down and look at that iPad?
I mean, yeah, I think we're going to go home, or not home, to the hotel, settle, get some food, and get to it.
Hey, this is home for NC State, the ACC tournament.
Might as well be.
Right.
That's what Coach Moore said.
I was going to say 10 straight W's. There's something going on with NC State and the ACC women's tournament.
Yes, sir.
Love it. Well, listen, congratulations. Get some rest. Can't wait for tomorrow afternoon. Wolfpack and the Irish. It'll be out of sight.
Thank you.
Wish
Great
you the
game
best.
today, River. Hey, I used to watch her in high school.
That's what you said.
I actually covered her in high school, which is so crazy. Shout out to Pleasant Home. She was really good back in high school, too, if you couldn't tell.